Ever wish you could just, like, walk into a negotiation, whether it's for a car or even just a better rate on something, and just nail it? Walk away feeling confident you got what you wanted.
It's a skill, isn't it? And
Wow.
today, we're breaking down a system to help you do just that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're really diving into the nitty-gritty of persuasion, and the best part, you don't have to be a lawyer to use it.
Right, you don't need a law degree for this.
Yeah.
This is about clear communication, and it comes from attorney Mitch Jackson. He's a trial lawyer
Yeah.
and mediator, so he knows a thing or two about getting his point across.
Definitely. And his method, it boils down to 5 clear steps.
5 steps, and they apply whether you're in court or asking for a raise or even just trying to get your point across in a meeting. It's about being strategic.
I love that. Okay, so let's break it down. Step 1 is state the problem clearly, which honestly sounds like common sense, but I'm guessing there's more to it than meets the eye, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it like building a house. You need that solid foundation, or everything crumbles. You can't just walk in and say, I need this, I want that. You've got to set the stage.
So it's not enough to just say, we need a bigger budget, even though, let's be honest, who doesn't?
Exactly. You need specifics. Instead of bigger budget, it's our current budget means we're stuck with this outdated software and it's costing us X amount in lost productivity. See how that paints a clearer picture.
It's like instead of just saying, my head hurts, you're giving the doctor the whole story, the symptoms, so they understand the urgency.
Exactly. You got to make them feel the problem. And that leads us right into step 2, which is where things get interesting. Agitate the problem.
Ooh, okay, so time to stir the pot a little. Play up the drama.
Well, not drama, necessarily. It's more about highlighting those consequences of inaction. Remember the outdated software. Don't just mention it, paint a picture. If we stick with this, we risk falling behind our competitors, maybe even losing market share.
So you're not just presenting a problem, you're making them feel the urgency to solve it.
Exactly. But, and this is important, you got to keep it real. Exaggeration might work once or twice, but lose that credibility and it's game over.
It's about walking that line between persuasion, making a strong case, and just being manipulative. Are there any other traps people should avoid when they're agitating the problem?
Oh, for sure. One big one is forgetting to connect the dots for the other side. It's not enough to list off consequences. You've got to show how those consequences directly impact them. What keeps them up at night? What are their goals? Speak to those directly.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've laid out the problem, turned up the heat a bit, strategically, of course. So what's next? Swoop in with the solution.
You got it. Step 3, provide a clear solution. And this is where all that groundwork pays off. Because if you've nailed the first 2 steps, the solution, it just feels like that natural next step.
Like you've presented all the evidence, made a compelling case, and now the jury's just waiting for that verdict.
Precisely. But even the best solution falls flat if it's not communicated well. And the key here, simplicity. Ditch the jargon, keep it concise. Nobody wants a lecture. They want to know what you're proposing and how it fixes things.
So no rambling on for an hour with a super complicated plan. Just that clear, concise roadmap.
Exactly. Think of it like you wouldn't want your doctor to explain a procedure using all those technical terms. You'd want them to break it down so you understand, right?
I get you. Okay, so we've stated our case, agitated things strategically, and now we've presented our clear and concise solution. What's the next move?
It's time to personalize it a bit. Step 4 is all about showing the other party why this solution is tailor-made for them.
So it's not enough to just have a brilliant solution. You have to make it sing for them.
You got it.
We'll be right back to dive into that right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
And we're back talking persuasion. For the break, we're really getting into how to, tailor-make your solution so the other side, they really see its value.
Right, because you could have the best idea in the world, but if they don't get it, if it doesn't click with what they need, it's useless.
100%. It's like, think about marketing. They don't market a sports car the same way they market, say, a minivan, right?
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do we actually DO that in a negotiation? How do we get inside their head a little?
Empathy. It's all about empathy. You've got to put yourself in their shoes. What are their priorities? What keeps them up at night?
Yeah.
Once you understand that, then you can frame your solution so it's addressing their specific needs.
Okay, so let's say I'm trying to convince my boss to let me work from home, even just 1 day a week. How would I, tailor that using this framework?
Perfect example. So first, you state the problem. Maybe your commute, it's killing your productivity, or it just throws off your whole work-life balance.
Yeah.
Then agitated a bit. Maybe that decreased productivity, it's impacting deadline, or even team morale, right?
Okay, yeah, then I swoop in with my solution like, hey, working from home 1 day a week, it would make me so much more focused, so much more efficient.
Exactly. But here's that tailoring part. Don't just focus on what you get out of it. Highlight how this benefits your bosses, the company.
So instead of I'll be less stressed, it's more like, hey, I actually get like 20% more work done when I'm at home. That means I can crush those reports faster, help the whole team stay on track.
Now you're speaking their language. You've taken your solution and you're showing how it lines up with what they care about.
This is great. Okay, so much good stuff here. We've stated our problem, we've agitated it, strategically, of course, presented our awesome solution, tailored it. What's the final move? What seals the deal?
The call to action. This is where you give them that clear, strong next step.
A mic drop moment.
You got it. And you'd be surprised how many people, they kind of fumble at this stage. They don't want to be too direct. But in negotiation, clarity is key.
So no beating around the bush. Just a straight up, here's what I need you to do.
Exactly. Like you're handing them the pen, pointing right at that dotted line. You've done all this work, built a solid case. Now you make it crystal clear what that next step is.
Okay, I can see that. But how do you do that assertively? Like business, but without coming off as bossy or demanding.
Great question. And it's a balance, right? It's confidence, but also consideration. You're firm in what you're asking, but you're also acknowledging their side, making it easy for them to say yes.
Can you give me an example? Like, what does that sound like in real life?
Okay, imagine you're negotiating a salary for a new job. You've gone through the steps, you've made your case for that number you want. Now, instead of just saying, so are you going to offer me the job or what?
Mm-hmm.
Which puts people on the spot.
Yeah, not great.
Right. You can say, I'm confident I can bring a lot to this team. I'm really excited about this opportunity. And based on my experience, what similar roles are paying right now, I'm looking for a salary of X. Would you be open to maybe revisiting the offer with that in mind?
Ooh, I like that. It's direct, it's specific, but it doesn't feel like I'm giving an ultimatum.
Exactly. And see how it ends with a question. You're inviting them to continue the conversation, not just laying down the law.
It's collaborative, right? Like, we're in this together, let's find a solution that works.
Exactly. It's not about dominance, it's about reaching that win-win.
This is really eye-opening. We often think of negotiations as these big formal things, but after this, I'm seeing it everywhere. It's like we said, you don't have to be in a boardroom, with contracts and lawyers to be negotiating. It's everywhere.
It really is. It's those little everyday conversations back and forth anytime you're trying to reach some kind of agreement.
Like, I'm not drawing up a contract to convince my roommate to do the dishes, but hey, maybe I should.
There you go. But seriously, that's what's so cool about this 5-step system. It's not just for those high-stakes situations. It works anywhere.
So for our listeners, how do they start actually using this? Should they keep like a little cheat sheet in their pocket?
That'd be a sight.
Yeah.
It's more about internalizing these principles.
Yeah.
Start seeing these situations differently.
Yeah.
And honestly, start small. Next time you and your friends are trying to figure out where to eat, try it out.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so instead of just saying, I'm starving, let's order pizza, I'm going to use the steps.
Exactly. State the problem. I'm kind of tired of pizza. Let's be a little adventurous tonight. Agitate it. If I have to look at another pepperoni, I might scream. Solution. How about we try that new Thai place? Everyone's been raving about it.
Yeah.
Show how it applies. They've got great vegetarian options, and it's right around the corner. And the call to action, I'm ready to order. Who else is in?
I love it. So it's not about becoming some kind of like manipulative mastermind.
No, not at all. It's about being genuine, respectful, but also just like more aware of how you're communicating.
This has been fantastic. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit now for anything life throws at me.
And remember, practice makes perfect. Don't be afraid to try it out. Make mistakes. You'll get the hang of it. That's how you really master anything.
This is your host, signing off for today, but I've got a feeling I'm going to be seeing negotiations everywhere I look now. Until next time, everyone, happy negotiating.